Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Water Cooler. I am Sarah from Texas, and this is our place to chat all the latest celebrity news, which there's really not much. I mean, Dancing with the Stars, 90 Day Fiance, and Jeff Lewis and Jeff Lewis Extended. Oh my gosh, I am fresh out of a shower. It was one of those days. I don't even have moisturizer on. Not that I felt good enough to wear that, but when I shower during the day, for some reason, it dries out my face even more than normal. So I try to take a wet wash rag. Do y'all do that? Do y'all take a wet wash rag and I get dry skin there and right there in my chin amongst the hairs there and there, which I obviously haven't felt good enough to exfoliate the face, and I don't give a shit. So anyways, I hope you're doing amazing. It's a great fall day here, so I put on some orange for everybody, but I am in South Texas, so of course I have shorts and a sleeveless shirt on. In case you were listening to this as a podcast, not watching on Spotify, you will know what I'm wearing. Anyways, welcome. If you happen to be new here, if this is your first time, get comfortable in comments. We love to hear where you're from, what you're doing, what you want to chat about. I am on 3 different cameras, so don't forget, I might miss a comment, but other people love to chat in the comments, okay? So if I can't see a question, which we do make time at the end for just open questions, TV, reality, anything you want to chat about, most anything, we do that at the very end. So let's get started. We usually do a little bit of celebrity news, then I recap, we chat together, whatever reality TV show was the latest thing I've watched. And then, of course, we get into today's Jeff Lewis and Jeff Lewis Extended. Today, there's really not much Dancing with the Stars, not much celebrity news. By the way, all my news sources are from TMZ, Bravo and Cocktails, and Page 6. So if you're ever curious where I get my news, that's where it's at. Anna Delvey, and that's where in social media, that's where I learned that Anna Delvey and Tori Spelling both got kicked off of Dancing with the Stars last night. Anna Delvey, Anna, whatever Shane says it. She's getting more press because, like the dipshit that she is, when they said, what are you going to take away from your experience on Dancing with the Stars? And she was like, nothing. So, accountability 0, Anna Delvey 1, or whatever you call it. Tori Spelling is the only of the celebrities that I follow. So I had been seeing her promote and ask for votes and all the things. So I really feel terrible for her. I also think she needed this for her self-esteem, for the money, for getting her career back on track. So, and I just love Donna. I know she's not Donna, but I love Tori Spelling from Beverly Hills 90210. So she was also eliminated, and she posted a picture of her back in the carpool. We know that she takes 5 different kids to 5 different schools. I thought the oldest one would have graduated high school, but I guess they haven't. So anyways, I think she has 5 different schools, 5 different start times. I've seen her make stories about it. So yeah, Tiffany Chomp says, it'll work. Such an asshole thing for her to say for her partner who trained her. Yeah, I mean, some people even start dating. I mean, right? There's one of them. I don't even know who they are. A lot of you chumpettes are super into Dancing with Stars. I'm talking to you, Lisa in Kentucky. And keep me informed on this. A lot of people DM with me back and forth about the show and let me know about this and other stuff. So I appreciate it. But I don't actually watch the show. I went out to dinner last night with the family because, cooking's not my jam. And if you didn't see the picture of the chopped brisket baked potato that I had, y'all, it was Instagram worthy for sure. I think it's probably still up. Anyways, but a lot of people start dating or become really good friends. I mean, you're spending a lot of time with each other. I mean, training for Dancing with the Stars is it's almost like going to summer camp. You have this kind of experience together, right? Or being in a sorority or being in a fraternity. You're like, oh my gosh, we have so much we can. It's like being a chump listener, right? We'll talk about caller Holly that needs to know about us. So if anyone knows Holly, she needs to know about Sarah from Texas. Anyways, but yeah, so, clearly I think she's just so into herself that she just doesn't want to give him any credit for anything about her experience. I did see an interview where they kind of danced around it, but they were like, what do you think of like people like maybe like saying that, maybe you shouldn't be here because you're a freaking criminal. And she's like, well, I did my time. I paid my restitution back and I deserve a chance. And I'm like, no, just move on. It's her attitude. You know what I mean? It's her attitude. Mama Judy says it was 100 degrees here in California yesterday and I have a jacket on today. Got to be mid 80s, not cold with a big drop. We have that kind of stuff in Houston where the morning it'll be like, winter weather. And by 11 a.m. it's 85 degrees. So thank you for reminding people to hit the like button. I appreciate it, Sharon. On YouTube, the thumbs up button. On TikTok, tap the screen, hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. On Instagram, you can hit the heart button. I think it is. I had to think about what it was. Okay. Let's chat Andy Cohen real quick. Because of course I love listening to Andy Cohen live in the morning. So again, shingles update. I'm about to do a big update because so many people are either asking me about shingles or telling me about their shingles or their family and friends. So anyways, because I just showered and washed my hair and it is so painful to touch, to brush, to shampoo and condition, washing my face. Anyways, I'm gonna do an update video on shingles. But I was listening with an ice pack on my head, laying down as a whisper, listening to Andy Cohen live this morning. And one of the things he told us is that yesterday at the gym, or maybe Monday, his AirPods case. Now his AirPods were in his ears, okay? But the case, you kind of need that part. He left it on a bench or a piece of machinery, which I'm assuming everyone that goes to Andy Cohen's gym has money. So why they wouldn't turn this in at the front desk is beyond me. Because what does it even do for them to have this case that doesn't even, whatever it is. So he says, I think he even said on the radio, the actual address, like he didn't give a shit. So you can track things like that, right? And he's like, oh, I saw it and it went from uptown to midtown. It ended up in wherever. So then I just caught a story. So his stories disappear after 24 hours, as everyone does. And so it won't be up for long, or for a day. But he says, I was walking, I think in Midtown. He says, I was walking by, happened to be, I don't think it happened to be. And he says, this is the apartment building where it says my AirPod case is. Should I knock on all the ring all the apartments? Like in New York, you just call them on like a intercom basically and ask if they have my AirPods. Well, he never has comments on, so you can't even reply to his story. I'm like, you're asking for opinions and then you don't put the option to DM you within the Instagram story. But anyways, I was like, no, I wanted to tell him, anyone that's stealing your AirPod case and just haphazardly carrying it around with them and then ends up in your apartment, like toss it. If it's not, if you're going to be an a-hole and steal someone something that they obviously left by mistake and you can't even use it because it's not the whole thing, he had to go to the iPhone store and buy one for $100. But I wanted to tell him no, because you don't know who you're dealing with. Like, I don't know. Maybe they saw that Andy Cohen left it there and this is like a ruse to get it. Like, no, Andy, do not do it. If anyone has Andy's number, call him and say, Sarah from Texas wants to tell you, do not knock on those apartment doors and call them. Something else he talked about was his babysitter dilemma, which I think is so relatable. So on Monday, and he posted about it, he went to the Charlie XCS or whatever, some other concert with some other opening guy, whatever. Had a great time, all the things, but he was invited to the after party, which is all fine and dandy, right? Because remember, Tuesdays and Thursdays are pre-recorded, so he doesn't have to be in the studio for Andy Cohen Live. Okay, so that's important here. So he says, look, I wanted to go to the after party and like party with the young people. I'm single, ready to mingle, what have you. But my babysitters always want to leave early. They're always like, well, what time are you going to be back? And then he said, maybe I have the wrong babysitter. And then he backtracked because I'm sure that'll get back to him. He's like, no, I've got great babysitters, great nannies. But I do wonder, I'm assuming he uses someone in his building, a teenager, a college student, a mom. I have no idea. But it made sense. Even the producer was like, yeah, when I was in college, and me too, high school and college, that was the best time. When the babies went to bed or the toddlers or the kids went to sleep, you were getting paid, however much an hour to sit and do nothing. Nowadays, these kids can watch Netflix, they can be on their phone, they can talk to their boyfriend, they can do all the things and get paid for it. So I kind of wasn't sure. He maybe needs to have like a late night sitter, somebody that's good for daytime, somebody that's good for like 6 to 10 p.m., and somebody that's good for like 8 p.m. to 3 in the morning, or maybe even stay overnight, as one caller called in to say. So I just thought that was very relatable. I love when he chats about just normal stuff. He also talks about how, I think the producer said, because she's a mom too, obviously John Hill could give a shit about his babysitter dilemma, was like, well, yeah, you don't want to pay someone $30 an hour. And I thought, you know what? I had a babysitter one time in New York City because we took all 5 kids to New York, but a couple of kids were too young. And I took 1 or 2 of the older kids. Gosh, what was it? No, we took them all to Cinderella. I took a couple of the older kids somewhere, and I got my friend's cousin's nanny in New York City. I know, friend of a friend of a friend. And she met us at the hotel. Next to our hotel was a movie theater. So it was Smurfs 2. So whenever the weekend of Smurfs 2 was, I was in New York City with all the kids. And we paid that babysitter to meet at my hotel. So basically walked from the hotel to the adjoining movie theater and paid for the movie, which even back then was like $20 in New York City per person. And then I think she hung out with them at the hotel for me. But she costed more than like Texas babysitters, you know what I mean? So I don't really know. And that was forever ago. So I don't really know what he charges now for 2 babysitters of a celebrity, of a rich person, probably signing an NDA, probably, keeping all your secrets. Like, is Ben still on a pacifier? Just whatever. I would think you would pay more. Yeah, it's only 2 kids, a 5 and a 3-year-old, but still, that's a lot of work. And I don't think his kids are easy. He always says, the sitters are ready to leave when I get home. They're like, pew, I'm done. Anyways, it was interesting. They also chatted, a caller called in. If y'all know what Whisper Wednesday is, and if you don't, I made a video about it. So it's up everywhere. I don't think I put it on YouTube. YouTube is just too much time and effort to put up. I'm kind of over putting up videos on YouTube. Anyway, a lot of work. But the Whisper Wednesday thing was earlier this year. A guy called in and he was whispering on the call, and he said, I'm at work, so I have to whisper. Well, they thought that was so funny that soon after, they planned around Valentine's, they planned a whole hour of Whisper Wednesday. And John and Andy Cohen and everyone that called in, every producer that chatted on the microphone, had to whisper. Talking into it. Oh my goodness. It was so hard to listen to, but people loved it. People hated it. It was very, very divisive. And someone called in and he was like, well, it got a lot of people talking. He's like, I'm not opposed to doing it again. And I was like, no. So he said maybe he would do it at a year. Well, it is late-ish September. So if we have to wait until February, I'm okay with once a year. But give me your thoughts on Whisper Wednesday, whether you listen to it or not, what you think about a whole hour of Andy and John Hill whispering. I even remember some jokes, because I love John Hill, about just saying like, oh, even at a whisper you can ignore me, you know what I mean? So it was kind of funny. I finally got to watch Watch What Happens Live, where John Hill was the bartender on the latest episode. And who were the freaking guests? Cyndi Lauper and Paris Hilton. It was so good. But John Hill was so funny. And at the end of it, he did like this 5 things. It was really funny. He was making all these jabs to Andy Cohen. And one of them was about, oh gosh, what was it? Whatever it was, Cyndi Lauper took it literally, and it didn't mean it literally. Somebody's going to remind me what it was. That was an episode of a week or 2 ago, but I just now got a chance to watch it. Oh my gosh, what was it? Anyways, what are y'all talking? Oh, not Whisper Wednesday, Mel says. So maybe she doesn't want it. What are y'all talking about? Kelly Dodd? Okay. Sharon says, I quit the Smash 2. I can't take Kelly anymore either. I'm getting a lot of DMs and texts about Kelly Dodd. People, it's almost like what went on with Heather McDonald about a year ago. People that were Heather McDonald, huge Juicy Scoop fans, who knew that I was called Jeff Lewis Obsessed at the time. So clearly a Jeff Lewis fan listener. And they were complaining really honestly and really boldly to me about Heather McDonald, how they thought she was wrong, things she had changed, blah, blah, blah. I actually had a DM relationship with Heather McDonald at that time. And well, not this time last year, but around August-ish, Labor Day-ish, because she would block me, then she would unblock me, then she would block me when all the Jeff Lewis feud of it all started. But I even was voice texting her and saying, hey, look, you just need to come out. This was about the Justin Martindale of it all. And I said, you need to come out and say, look, we may not agree on things, but we are, I respect him as a friend and professionally, whatever. I was really giving her advice because people were really complaining to me. And I told her, I said, look, if your fans who pay your $20 behind the fence, behind the gate Patreon are complaining to a Jeff Lewis Obsessed fan account about you need to make some changes. You know what I mean? And I knew a little more of it. So, I had my thoughts on it because people were sending me screenshots of things she had liked and said. And yeah. So anyways, I say that to say that's what's happening with Kelly Dodd people. The Smashers are sending me messages how they used to be fans of hers. And now all that's coming out with the drunk videos, I guess a drunk Instagram live the other night, maybe another one, the comment she made on Jeff Lewis Live last week, where they talked about the house that they're selling in New York right now and how that money's going to go together. And that upsets, now the daughter, because that takes away their money that was, Rick's before her. It's a lot. Yvonne Gal says, Michael, I feel so sorry for Rick. She just rolls right over him. I quit watching her too. So, Michael Riley says Rick didn't have any money. I mean, I don't know anyone's bank account information, right? I would like to think he has been responsible with his money, but he's also had at least 2 divorces before this. This is what's so annoying. There's so many things annoying about this shingles, but remember weeks ago, before I even knew it was shingles, and I'd put makeup on that Wednesday, the day I first got the first lesion right there. And I said, oh my God, it instantly felt like something was in my eye. That was one of the first symptoms also, besides the headache. It feels like something's in my eye, like really bad, my right eye. Anyways, it's so annoying. Okay, let's get into it was Sunday nights. 90 Day Fiance, The Other Way, Season 6, Episode 13. It's only an hour. Thank you, Jesus. I mean, thank you, TLC. These aren't my favorite couples. I actually, they showed a lot about Corona, and I think you pronounce it Ingy. I don't know how's his name. I don't love him. I love her. And her story is that, she didn't come from a family that was super warm and fuzzy, if you will, or money, what have you. But somehow her dream is to be a midwife. Okay. I guess that touches my heart because the last 4, no, Jesus, I'm forgetting. I wanted a midwife with baby number 1. I wanted them born in a birth tub. I did. I'd seen it on TLC's A Baby Story. Okay. By the time I called and asked about it, there was only one that was about 45 minutes away. So my husband didn't feel comfortable with our first birth, being 45 minutes away from where we live. So I understood and respected that. So I had an OB. The next one, I had a midwife in a hospital. The next one, I had a midwife in a hospital. The last 2, I had midwives at a birthing center, 2 different birthing centers in a tub. I know, I'm that girl. I'm, what do they call those moms? A crunchy mom, if you will. Anyways, so it touches me that Corona wants to be a midwife because I feel for that. So she, falls in love with this guy that lives in Iceland. She is an African-American woman. He is Icelandic or whatever you call it. I didn't even know that Iceland has its own language, and apparently it's really hard to learn. So everyone that she is there with knows English, like her boyfriend knows English and what his family seems to, but she is still learning it. She goes there already being admitted into, I think, Penn State, UPenn, whichever one is the really smart one, and she got into that program. but she leaves that she doesn't start the program so she can go to Iceland and join and try to get into the one and only midwifery program that they have there. So she gets there, she's there a couple of weeks. She finally has an interview with the lady at the one school and realizes she's like 2 weeks late for the international student application process. 2 weeks too late. Can you imagine, like, pounding your fist like, oh my gosh? Because I think she wants to get her career going. I mean, she's in her like early 30s maybe. So it's not like she's, a young whatever. But then she realizes everything is in Icelandic. So she has to actually read and write the language really well to do this entire program through that. So it just bummed me out. I don't know that they're a love connection. I feel like he is very indifferent. Like, I don't think he's giving her the respect. Maybe it's his personality. Maybe it's his culture. I don't know. But I don't think he's giving her all the lovey-dovey that she needs to be like, hey, I dropped everything in the US. Like, I was in this very prestigious program, or going to start this very prestigious program, and now I can't even do it because I decided to move here. She does join a Facebook group, which I was like, shout out Facebook group, Sarah from Texas. So she could meet other Black Icelanders. And so she meets, I think 3 of them met at a house. And I think it was very informative because, it's just a very different experience. I don't know what the percentage is there, but clearly she wanted to meet people that she had more in common with. And like the guy talked about, like, he's kind of not been moved up in his career as much as he thought. And he felt like it's because of being Black in Iceland. The 2 women there are like, we haven't experienced that, Oh, a smart chump. Christina Anderson says, Iceland speaks an old Norwegian dialect. That's interesting. So Norwegian is a different, I don't even know. I know very little. I know very little. Oh my gosh. Okay, Lori's going back to the Rick Leventhal of it all. Rick Leventhal has a net worth of $3 million, worked at Fox for 24 years. I don't believe anything online. You know why? Because I've seen some ridiculous numbers thrown out online, like about Rachel Leviss. Remember that when it was like, she's worth $12 million. I was like, no, she's not. If she was, she is not renting an apartment in LA. Okay. Not at $12 million. So all those fees online are or whatever's are often wrong. So I don't know. I think about how much money do you have in the bank, stocks, 401k, cash, whatever, or what houses or what equity do you have in homes? Not that you have a $10 million home, which I don't think they do, but also people I've learned now, because J-Lo, who else? Somebody just took a loan out against their house. People take loans out against their house. J-Lo and Ben did, and Mariah Carey recently. So sometimes people have an expensive house, but they've taken a loan out against it, which brings that loan up even more. So anyways, Lori says, I don't even know if he can afford Kelly Dodd. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't think if they were super rich that she would complain about car insurance prices for her daughter. I mean, I don't know. She complains about a lot of things that I would think wouldn't be a big deal if they were uber rich. You know what I mean? Because I don't think she's cheap. It's one thing like Andy Cohen to have, like, to me, lots of money, but he's very efficient and practical with his money. He's like, that's a lot of money. Like, as rich as he's been, as famous as he's been for so long, I think, like Crystal Minkoff the other day talking about, no, I don't valet park at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I have street parking right there that's free. I am all for that. I don't care if I'm valeting at a restaurant. I don't care what it looks like. You know what I mean? Like, maybe if I was famous, I would, but I love that she's famous and she doesn't care. Annie says, I feel like I'm being mean, but I was so fond of Kelly in the beginning, and it's just kind of hurt my feelings because she's turned out to be so different from what I expected. Well, and people can change, or maybe she's just showing you a sliver of her personality. I mean, I think in general, she gets a lot of fans that say she's very nice to them when she meets them. Clearly she has a lot of friends in real life, we think. So, I don't know. Pina says she complains about money all the time. See, I quit. Like last school year, I had this break between getting 2 kids off to school and then a big break when the third one went off to her school because she was in a different school. Now they're both in high school, the two left at home. So I both get them off at the same time. And then I've practically had COVID or shingles since school started. So I keep going back to sleep or, getting things done that I didn't get done the night before, things like that. You know what I mean? So, ew, show us your feet. Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye on Instagram. Okay. So I don't know if that couple's going to make it. Another one I don't know that live in Ireland, Sean and Joanne. She did bring her two boys, her only kids over, and her best friend, and had to finally tell them that she and Sean have been married for a couple of years already. So she lives in like Long Island, New York. Well, the one kid is still like, I don't know, 12-ish. The other one's like 17-ish. So I'm assuming they're both still in high school. She talks about going over to Ireland for like a couple of weeks or a couple of months at a time. And I'm like, where are your boys going to be? Like, what are these people thinking where they just leave their freaking kids? I don't understand it. Love is love is love and desperation, whatever. But I just think being a parent comes first. And like, can't you find someone in the US or just wait till they're grown and you can date? I don't know, whatever. Sean also has a little girl that's like 8-ish. I think he has her full time. She was upset by the deception. She was upset that they thought she was, that Joanne was the girlfriend. And now all of a sudden it's the mom or the wife, and she could be coming here to live with them. You know what I mean? Anyways, another one, Josh and Lily in China. I thought she was rich because she's a business owner and in China. And I think about, people in China being very business savvy with their money, but I think she's in a lot of debt trying to impress him with her house that she's being built in this pink car. And I don't think they have any money at all, but I don't even think they're going to last. He apparently in China, you cannot work like ever. It's not a matter of getting what's it called when you're in the US, getting the green card and, all this stuff, the paperwork, whatever. I don't think he can work ever. So he's now I don't even know if he can be an employee in America of a hair. See, this is what I hate too. I can't stand loose hair. So if I have ever been with you before and I said, oh my God, I feel something on my arm, I'm literally asking you to find any loose hairs because I cannot stand losing my hairs after I shower. Anyways, but I don't think they're going to make it either. Another couple, James and Natalia or something like that in Indonesia. She wants kids. He doesn't. I don't think any of them are going to work. Somebody was messaging me. Wait, what? There's an account called My 600 Pound Life, 69420 joined. Do you watch the show or are you 694 pounds? Like, I live in the Houston area. I know exactly where Dr. Now's office is. It's in the same, I have two businesses that I go to in that same shopping strip. So anyways, clearly I watched Dr. Now on 600 Pound Life. What else? It's all fake. Stop it, Krista. You're hurting my feelings. It's all fake. 90 Day Fiance is all staged and produced. No, I feel like they're real nut jobs. I do. I think they're all real nut jobs. Ruby Rose. We usually answer questions at the very end. What do you think of Tamra Judge and her harsh treatment of Shannon's drinking? I think it's thirsty, judgy as her last name. She has no storyline. They haven't shown Eddie this entire season, so we'll see what this week has in store for Real Housewives of Orange County. I will definitely be watching and recapping with you. Okay, really good. Jeff Lewis, well, no, I mean, they're all good, but I mean, really good information on today's show. So today was Jamie Kennedy and Jackie Schimmel. Jackie was running late, so they put in a bikini picture of her, which I don't know. She was like, I'm fine with that. Like, look how great I looked at pregnant, racing in a bikini or something. So I'm okay with it for sure. Jamie, again, I think this is the second or third times. We were chatting about this in the Sarah from Texas Facebook group because it's just easier to have a thread and like comment underneath it. It's kind of 50-50. The same with the chumps. There's some chumps that think Jamie Kennedy was talking about fabric curtains, like drapes on a wall when he was talking to Naya a few weeks ago. I will go over that briefly. And then some people think he was making it into a sexual thing because they said he often makes things into sexual things with Nia in particular. So basically Nia was talking about having a boyfriend and they were kind of hanging out on the couch. And I think Jamie said, if you want to see if he's gay, ask if does he ask about the curtains? Well, Ryan Bailey was there and instantly thought, or maybe it was the after show, I can't remember, but thought he meant her vagina, her beef curtains, if you will, from that show, Baby Reindeer. And so it goes back and forth. He immediately apparently sent Jameson a message. I think he was asking him to either take that out or to explain it, what have you. And see, this is where it gets. Okay, let's stop. Nick James International is a gay man in Puerto Rico. Well, I'm gay and I picked up on the curtains. That's totally a gay thing. I do see that part of it. But also Jamie Kennedy is not a gay man and doesn't exactly talk about hanging out with all the gays. You know what I mean? He doesn't exactly talk about that all the time. So anyways, we'll never know. I mean, we'll never know. The fact is people took it both ways and we don't know how he meant it. But it's kind of like doth protest too much. Why does he keep bringing it up? I think if they wouldn't have brought it up again and the last time, we'd have probably forgotten about it by now. You know what I mean? He brought it up, not Jeff. So basically it became this argument of, did they take it in a sexual way? And he's basically backtracking now saying, no, that's not how I meant it because I don't want HR to whatever. He very much seems like to play the not get in trouble mode. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's kind of 50-50. And even some of the chumps were talking about it on Jeff Lewis Extended. In some feels he definitely was talking about it. Jeff thinks he was talking about it that way. They talked about it on the after show. Let me see who all said it. I can't remember now. Well, I think I put that in the Facebook group. I can't remember where I wrote it down, but Jeff, I think Ryan still thinks that way. I don't know. See, Elle says he's backtracking. So it goes back and forth. Annie's Mayboo. Yuck, beef curtains. That's just vile. Yes, it is a gross word. Seriously, I think labia is much more pleasant. I like real words, penis, vagina, labia. Okay. So we don't know but super nervous about it, knowing that he also sent Ryan a message, a 3-minute voicemail afterwards being like, that's not what I meant. I don't know. Jeff talks about his Hinge date from Mexico coming in. I think it's his second or third date, kind of teasing about what restaurants to go to. And the guy said that he was a racist. We will talk at the end, the very end of Jeff Lewis Extended. We'll talk about a text that Jeff read us about someone he used to date, because I want to know your thoughts. So last night he was at Soho House. He doesn't say if it was a date or not, which I thought was interesting. Because I don't think you just show up at Soho House. I mean, first of all, you're paying a fee to be a member of this. Is it just a restaurant? Anybody rich enough to know, or has anyone DM'd it? Robin, I love that. Wait, where'd it go? Robin says Jamie needs a shower and a shave. I think so too. I'm always shocked that his girlfriend is known to be hot. I'm like, ew, you know what I mean? Anyways, he's at Soho House, pretty fancy place. He sees Ian Ziering from Beverly Hills 90210, and this is itching so bad. I'm sorry if I keep touching it. It's just itching so bad. Ian Ziering has been on Jeff Lewis Live, so he sees him and he doesn't say anything to Jeff, and then he calls him over basically because his wife or girlfriend is a huge fan and became a designer from watching Jeff Lewis on Flipping Out. So they've got 2 kids there, but Jeff even says, hey, Ian, if you ever want to come on, if you want to promote anything, I even know another chump, Reza, was on, and he talked about being in the same movie that you were, the Sharknado movies. And he said it was just crickets. Ian wasn't saying anything, which I think is interesting because it's not like Ian Ziering, I guess if he's in Soho House, he's doing okay, right? Wait, hold on. What? Annie says, OMG, I dated Ian when I was 13 years old. Do you date at 13 or like go steady? I need way more details, stuff you might be able to tell me on the phone. Oh my gosh. Okay. Tell us in comments anything you want to say. By the way, if you ever want to read the comments on YouTube, hit the live chat button at the Sarah from Texas channel. And if you do that, you see all the comments that went up. That's one reason I love YouTube, because the comments stay up and you can kind of go along with it. That's one thing I want. I got to figure that out still for the advice podcast that we're going to do. Oh my gosh. Andy's going to call me. I cannot wait. Okay, Jeff Lewis extended was Ryan Bailey, Justin Martindale, the long-awaited return. There is no drama with Justin Martindale. Now, some might wonder, because before he went on vacation to Hawaii, which is one reason he was gone for a while, there was something said where somebody else came. Did Reza come in? I feel like Reza showed up for him instead. He replaced Justin. Like when they give out so I think they announced it on Friday this week, but usually on Sunday. I started doing this a year or two ago, where I would listen and write down what the guests were on when he announced it on Friday. And then on Sunday or Monday, I think it was Sundays, I would make a list of all the guests for Monday through Friday of Jeff Lewis. So now he does that. His social media person does that. Anyways, a lot of people do it. TLC, Bravo now does it. But anyways, I've been doing it for a long time. So I'm kind of glad that Jeff's social media person does it now, and I can just recopy it. But Justin Martindale was announced as a guest. And then all of a sudden it was somebody else like thrown in there. And it seemed like Jeff was about to say something. He said something like, do you want me to talk about why he's not here? So of course people heard that and had been messaging me like, what's going on? What's going on with Justin? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know anything. So then when he wasn't on last week, I was like, well, if you follow him on Instagram like I do, he and his lovely boyfriend, Evan Cobb, are in Hawaii celebrating their anniversary. So it started off today like there's no feud. There's no feud between him and Ryan. There's no feud between Jeff and Justin. They talk a lot about Hawaii. And basically, I put this in the Facebook group, are you a Jeff Lewis vacationer or are you a Justin Martindale vacationer? Because Jeff is very like, I want room service. I want to stay on the property. I don't want to go in the ocean. I don't want to do a luau. I don't want to, take a tour of this or that or what have you. And Justin was like, me and Evan did everything. So I am definitely a Justin vacationer, but there's many people in our family that's more of a Jeff vacationer. And they just want to transport like from one house to another and do the same thing sitting in the house. And I'm like, no. Like we came here to do stuff. So I'm very much the energetic person on a vacation for sure. But I also think it's a little bit different that Justin was there with his partner. They were celebrating their anniversary. They'd never been to Hawaii before. Jeff's been to Hawaii many times. He was there with his daughter and other people. So yeah, here's you then said a mix of both. It depends on the day. Well, I definitely think first of all, for money, I'm not, a family of 7, one activity, I mean, much less the vacation, the flights, the car rent, whatever, one activity can cost a fortune for 7 of us to do because, they charge for adults at age 12. So for forever, I've been paying adult prices for our kids for like, swimming with the dolphins, things like that. But also you don't want to have somewhere to be every morning at like meet at this place at 8 a.m. or we're going to pick you up from the resort. So I think I like a mixture of like taking advantage of the resort. I also don't like, y'all know I'm super frugal. So if I have an all-inclusive situation, I don't want to be leaving that and going somewhere and buying lunch and all that whenever I've got that prepaid at my resort. Sophia said on TikTok says, I've never heard anything about this controversy. I heard the show when he said not anything else. Well, you also have to realize a lot of people DM me their private thoughts. So, and in the Facebook group. So just depends on how much you're interacting with other Jeff Lewis fans. Because I clearly am told, what people think about the show. Let's put it this way. If you're like caller Holly that called in today, which shout out caller Holly, you need to know about us. if you have no chump friends to talk about things, then you might not hear a certain part, or you might not think about a certain thing. But when you're DMing with people and chatting on the phone and text, and you've met people in the Facebook group and they reply to your stories and such, I get a lot more people telling me things, and then it makes me realize there is controversy there. Also, I'm not on Reddit, but Reddit is the place that everyone goes to like stir up drama. So I'm sure there was probably drama there. There's probably just a Martindale, what do they call those things? Not thread, whatever they're called on Reddit, whatever the snark. They used to call it a juicy scoop snark page or something like that. Anyway, so okay. They talked about Doug's tomato base instead of like sauce. And I'm like, come on, like I don't think he said he was like a professional, but he was so proud the few times he's come on to like, talk about the equipment he bought and like professional cannery and stuff. So I love that Doug goes and loves tomatoes, picks them, peels them, boils them, whatever you got to do to make tomato base. I just open up a can of Hunt's. That's all. I do add Walmart Italian seasoning, and I'm going to give y'all my secret away, my pasta sauce secret. Can of Hunt's, a can of Italian diced tomatoes. Look how fancy I am. That can opener is working. A little bit of minced, refrigerated, not fresh, garlic, and then the seasoning of Italian seasoning. Yeah, and that's all I add. Maybe salt and pepper if I'm feeling extra fancy. Aw, Elle says, I felt bad for Doug. Well, I don't feel bad for Doug because I think he can take a joke. He's such a good guy, but I did think it was funny that Jeff was like, I tried it. And, so Cheryl, don't be putting down my cooking. She says, well, that's not really a secret. I mean, I have a friend that used to say that she made this special ranch dip. Y'all know what the special ranch dip was? Freaking Hidden Valley Ranch and sour cream. That was her ranch dip. I'm like, that's not your own thing. You know what I mean? Marlene says, did you sense tension on the show with Emily? I don't think so. No, I don't remember, but I don't think so. If I did, I probably talked about the day up, but I've forgotten about it. Ryan and Rebecca also went on vacation recently and didn't get engaged. So, I've met Rebecca, I think twice now. I think she's super nice. I don't know if they want to get engaged. I mean, I assume they're in it to win it. But I think with all eyes on, I think I'd have been a little nervous about, proposing whenever I think Jeff said something about it before the thing. Hey, Marcia, it's okay to be late. You can always go back and watch the beginning. Michael Riley says, I know Annie. I heard. Oh, wait, I think I missed a part of this conversation. I know Annie. I heard that. So now I need to find another great sauce, Harry sauce. Yes. And I know that Sarah Fraser from the Sarah Fraser Show just ordered the Harry sauce. So she'll do a review of it whenever she gets it. It's actually not that bad for 3 cans for $30-something, especially if it's free shipping. If it's an extra $12 for shipping, I'm out. I don't care enough about Harry Hamlin or Lisa freaking Rinna. I think she's blocked me from like day one. I'm like, who are you? I never even followed you, Lisa Rinna. Like everyone that blocks me, I find out because I go to tag them in a story and I can't because they blocked me. And I'm like, oh, they're not here. And I'm like, oh, they blocked me. I'm like, I didn't even follow them. Ah, the list is long. Okay, Cozy Earth influencer. I kind of thought Todd Lewis was joking yesterday. I mean, no offense. He doesn't have that many followers. I had no idea that he's really a Cozy Earth influencer, whatever it's called. I guess his code really is a thing. But Justin's like, dude, I've been doing this for 2 years. Like, use my code. So I don't know. Lag 318. Oh, y'all are making me hungry. Doug gave them the fresh tomatoes. It was up to them to season or saute some garlic and oil. Lisa loves dogs, loves Aldi, however you pronounce it, the grocery store. She says, I get fire roasted tomatoes from Aldi. I know. She's always like, why don't you go to Aldi? And I'm like, I know. I think I've only been like twice and I loved it. My kids loved these granola bars they have, like to die for. And I forget to go back and get them. And now those are probably the kids that are away at college. No. User Reva said, we all are already getting into questions. Okay, let's finish up the show and then we'll come back to that. Somebody said, did Jeff and Harry not work out? Because maybe that's one of them. Okay, maybe that's what we have to talk about at the very end. Okay. Caller Holly calls in basically saying, look, when are you going to have your next live event? I have no chump friends. I was going to go to the San Francisco show, but I didn't have anyone to go with. I was going to force my husband to go, but I didn't want to sit by myself. And I'm like, oh my God, that is the literal first reason I ever thought to look into a Facebook group or to chat with other Jeff Lewis fans, because I wanted to go to his Burbank show from Texas, and I had nobody to fly with, and I had never flown or gone to a show by myself at all. Speaking of, I will be sort of going by myself, not really. Ileana, who I've met and lives in Houston, we've done a couple of things together. We've even taken a flight to LA before together for a chump event. We are going to meet for dinner. So if anyone is in the Houston area and just wants to meet for dinner, the information is 6:30 Friday night, September 27th. It's in the Sarah from Texas Facebook group under the events tab. If you happen to be going to Danae Hayes' live comedy show afterwards, like we are, then you can meet us for that too, but you don't have to. I love that. Allie Girl says, Sarah, you were the reason I went alone to Phoenix. Thank you. You are so welcome. And thank you for having the balls to do it, because it doesn't matter how much I encourage people. You have to follow through with it and have that confidence and oomph to do it. You know what I mean? So live life with no regrets for sure. Okay. But because of that, Jeff ended up announcing, not admitting, that's not like a bad thing, announcing that he's going to have a second annual Chumpmas, which a lot of us went to last year in Los Angeles at the Bourbon Room. This time it's going to be in December. We don't have a date yet. And it's going to be in Orange County. So I'm assuming Irvine Improv, but I have no idea. No idea. I'm just guessing. I have no idea. Anyway, so that will be announced whenever he announces it. He never gives me heads up information. So I would never tell y'all if he did, or I would never announce it, but I've never been given a heads up about a live event. Lisa Loves Dogs says, Sarah is so fortunate to have went to lots of Jeff's events and meet all the great chumps. Yes. Lisa Loves Dogs is saying, caw. I guess that's the thing about Aldi that she's let me know, that if you see a deal at Aldi that you love, you just yell out in the store, caw, and people come look to see what thing you found. Now, I could never, unless I was doing it as a joke. Like if I were in Kentucky with Lisa from Kentucky with 7 dogs, I would go to Aldi and I would caw with you. I absolutely would. And I'd probably make a TikTok about it. Ooh, Livy on TikTok says, OMG, my daughter will be living in LA by then. So you can fly into LAX and then drive down or Uber down, rent a car, whatever, to Irvine or Orange County. He didn't even say Irvine. He just said Orange County is what I wrote down. Or you can fly into SNA, the airport that's much closer. But for me, from Houston, it costs like 3 times as much. And it was not a direct flight. So it's not my preference. LAX is definitely my preference, but what the hell do I know? Okay. Michael Riley says that I think it was 26 ounces, which is like a normal size of pasta sauce. And then it was $10 to ship. Yeah, it's just not for me. I mean, I'm someone that is, gone to lots of overpriced events. I've bought lots of overpriced merch. To me, I have a $272 freaking hoodie from She by Sheree. Goodness. But $85 leggings from, Shannon Bedore's Lemon. What's that thing? Real for Real. Oh, it's just so bad. Oh, it's just so bad. And my hair touching it does not help at all. So I'm going to pull my hair back. Oh, isn't that cute with my gray hairs? Oh, I've got to cancel my facial appointment next because, I can't be dealing with her doing all that stuff on my face with this. Okay, we'll call her Holly. Get with the program. Come and meet us. Bravo and Stone says, I remember when it wasn't cool to shop at Aldi. My inner child won't allow me to enter. So being a Texan, I used to shop at H-E-B when it wasn't cool. And now H-E-B is huge. Like it's not a fancy store, but it's very a Texas thing. Like they've got a lot of nice things. But I used to shop it because their fruits and vegetables were so cheap. Yep, told you, I'm frugal. Oh, I love that. Lisa Loves Dogs says, I'm so glad I found Sarah to find out all about everything Jeff and Bravo. Exactly. Libby says, love HEB. Michael Riley, my friend's daughter's a district manager for Aldi, so begged me to come, in which I never would think I would go in there. I did love it. Yeah, I mean, I liked I forgot what I got there. It was so long ago, but we have one within 2 miles of my house. Universal Horror Nights. I thought it was kind of funny that Justin and Ryan are kind of like, did the invites already go out? Because they were not invited. So, it is what it is, and they were not invited. Jeff talked about the fan social app again. I think that's going to come out. I thought he said October 14th, which is now only like 3 weeks away. Let me know if you're going to get on that. I mean, clearly, if it's a chump, you're not going to be able to just DM them directly. They're going to tell you, book me through the app, because that's how Jeff and, Michael Beck are going to make their money, right? Because they had this idea, they paid for the technology, whatever, all the startup cost of it all is. So, but basically Fan Social app is going to be a way for chumps and other celebrities. I'm assuming he's going to invite everyone he can think of to come on here to book a lunch, a dinner, drinks, an event. I don't think you can necessarily take them to a movie. I think it's more dinner, drinks, or, lunch. But I don't know. I mean, I guess you can do anything for money, right? Yes, Lori says, I've only heard good things about Aldi. What I don't like about Aldi is you have to rent a grocery cart. I'm like, no, I don't need a quarter for, is that still a thing? That's what, yes, Lisa just said, don't forget to take your quarter for your cart and your own grocery bags. Yes, we were at, where did we find H&M or somewhere? No, it was not H&M. One of those type stores, Zara. I don't remember what it was. My daughter found one shirt from somewhere like that the other day, somewhere we don't go all the time. And it was one shirt, and they said, oh, it's like 15 cents for a bag. Do you need one? I was like, no, I had my big Louis Vuitton. I'm like, no. It's the point. I am not paying 15 cents for a bag when just add it in. I don't want to pay extra for it. Anyways. Okay. At the very end, Justin was talking about Annie, the new social media person, the person I hired. Matter of fact, I guess TikTok has like a memories thing, and one of her videos came up yesterday. It might have been I think I hired her early September. I hired her, and then we had to do the contract and all the details and, get started and all this stuff. So I'm not sure exactly when she made her first video for me, but she did what she's doing for Jeff, making 5 videos a week or 5 promo videos, if you will, out of my podcast. So Justin, and I've told y'all this, Justin is the one that recommended her to me. When I said, hey, I need someone to make videos, do you know anyone? He said, you need an Annie. Well, he knew Annie and said today, although they didn't want to talk about it because the HMD of it all, he said they trauma bonded. And I think I'm sure in the video, Jeff's going to be like, but I think Ryan was kind of confused. Like, y'all know each other? Like, what? Like, I kind of like that. Thank you, Sephora. Says, love your show. Please, everyone, give a like and a thumbs up. Thank you, Sephora. I appreciate it. But Justin was like, yeah, I knew what that meant, because I knew the trauma bonding meant from the Heather McDonald, because they both have clearly made it that they do not have a good experience with Heather McDonald, but they used to travel together on these live events because Annie was Heather McDonald's video producer / assistant, live events they went on and stuff. So, and then Justin Martindale opened for her sometimes. So they would travel together. Well, that's very bonding. So what he meant was they trauma bonded over how that ended for both of them. Anyways, at the very end, though, Jeff says he dated someone months ago and he went to text him and just say, like, how's it going? Well, someone on TikTok earlier just said, did Harry and Jeff not make it? Did they not work out? Which they absolutely didn't. They might have made out. Matter of fact, Who did they say Harry ended up going on a date with? I thought it was another chump, right? Like Ryan. No. Ryan. God. Ryan is a straight man with Rebecca. Sorry, Ryan. Not that he listens. Joey Zalzig. Didn't Joey and Harry hook up? Does anyone remember that? I feel like they did. Michael says, I had someone try to give me the quarter for my cart and I wouldn't take it. What, did you have your own quarter, or you just didn't want a cart? I don't know. Anyways, but then he read the text and the guy was like, yeah, I want to speak my own truth. I have thoughts on who that could be, but I want to know what your thoughts are. Like, which guy do you think it could be? And are you shocked that Jeff would reach out to a person? Like, what would make Jeff reach out to someone? Like, I don't feel like Jeff goes backwards, with dating. Like, I mean, unless it's, Gage. I don't know. Oh, Annie, I love that. If y'all want to come to Florida, I'll host everybody. Ooh, like a chumpette meetup. Oh, I love that. What's your closest airport to fly into? That would be so fun. So fun. How much? Okay, now we're going to open up to general questions because we've got about 4 minutes. How much did Kelly Dodd get from her divorce? I have no idea. I know he doesn't pay for a lot of stuff, and she says he's not paying for a dime of her college, of their daughter's college, which I know y'all know my thoughts on that. I know that child support ends at 18, but I think if you have kids, especially if you had one primary person making the money, if the difference in the income was so drastic, like Kelly Dodd and her ex Michael, I think it should be put in there that they pay for college. Because like right now, my husband pays for college for all of our kids. If we were to divorce and the other two that haven't yet graduated high school to go to college yet, I would put that in there that no, you are paying for college. Like, I don't understand how that stops at 18 unless the family never planned to pay for their kids' colleges. If you're in a situation where you never planned on that, then that makes sense. The mom and dad split it, the kids pay, they get loans, whatever they do. But when you're wealthy, these people that are wealthy and get a divorce, I don't understand. Like Shannon Bedore says that her ex doesn't pay for any of the 3 kids' college. Well, why not? He was clearly the breadwinner for a lot of their marriage. And even though she's a Bravo celebrity, she's not making the money that he did. You know what I mean? Oh, I love that. Lisa says a lot of people give their quarter away to the next Aldi's customer. Oh, like you just like pay it forward. I kind of love that. Thank y'all for tapping. Oh, we have over 10,000 likes over on TikTok. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. Make sure to share the live if you have an account that people would love reality TV and celebrity news. Oh, Annie says, Dana Wilkie did a deep dive. Oh, on what? On Kelly's divorce? Oh, I'm going to have to text her. I love Dana Wilkie, by the way. We've done each other's podcast. JRG says, we paid for 4 of our children's colleges. Wait, did you have 6 kids? Did you only paid for 4? Or do you mean you paid for all 4 of your kids' colleges? I don't know what that means. I'm just laughing because that would be weird if you only paid for some of them, right? Michael, I don't know. I know Kelly Dodd has talked about buying her own house in like Phoenix or wherever at a very young age, like definitely in her 20s. So I know she had a very good career and she made very good financial. So I think she set herself up for the future, but clearly her ex Michael had a shit ton of money. So I would assume, but I know they sold that house that they were on the beach in Real Housewives of Orange County when she was on. So I don't know if she gets part of that, if she's invested. I have no idea. Michael Riley says, and if Kelly bought that desert house, I wonder how much that was. That could have been all the money she had. Well, but even if she owns it, though, that is part of her investment, or that's part of her financial portfolio, though, right? Thank you for that, Rose, Anne Marie. Okay. Jean White says, Michael Dodd is rich. She must have got a good settlement. Doesn't always mean they get a good settlement. Sutton Strack did super good with her divorce. Shannon Bedore, not so good. Like, I don't know the details, but I think she got like a lump sum, like not so good. clearly if she's borrowing money. Thank you for the badge, Katie, on TikTok. Okay, well, we are going to wrap it up unless y'all have any more questions. Yes, Michael, was he the inventor? I think he was like a CEO. I don't know if he was an inventor. T with Tam, I don't know though. T with Tam just says Michael was the inventor behind Leapfrog for children. Well, I certainly gave him lots of money because we bought every DVD, every toy, every educational book, everything Leapfrog. We had it for our kids for sure. Lisa Loves Dogs says, I just have me, our house when we got divorced, and now it's paid for. He's a great guy. Well, that's good that you have a good ex-husband. I love that. Anyways. Okay, well, we are going to wrap it up. I will see you same place, same time tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're liking me everywhere at Sarah from Texas Podcast. Listen to it as a podcast at Sarah from Texas. And join the Sarah from Texas Facebook group. Ooh, run this town. Says Kelly is pissed that Rick doesn't make Michael money. Well, she married him, you know, married for love. Okay. Bye, TikTok. Bye, Instagram. Bye, YouTube and TikTok or YouTube.